Well, as you see downtown Los Angeles, that was an ugly one. And it felt like the Warriors didn't show up tonight as they were blasted throughout. Never had a lead as the Lakers jump out to a 15-3 lead, led by 20 after the first quarter, and did not look back. And look, the Warriors didn't show up. I'm by myself here on PostGame Live. Matt Barnes didn't show up today. Monty Poole's Zoom went out. He had technical difficulties. Kalin Azubuike forgot that Darrell Wright wasn't working. And my man Chris Mullin went home. That's how bad the game was. So you will be with me all throughout the show. Unless somebody can get a hold of Chris Mullin here on Warriors Postgame Live, presented by Toyota. The Warriors didn't show up.
Mullin's got wait. I'm back.
Oh, you back?
Yeah.
Man, you left me.
Everyone else left.
I mean, come on,
Some never
man.
showed up. My bad. I'm locked in.
You're locked in now?
Yeah.
All right, Mullin's back there. Whew, hallelujah, because everybody else didn't show up, including the Golden State Warriors in the first quarter. Let's take a look at that as the Warriors were down 20. Mullin, you good?
So does Wiseman. You know, Draymond maybe a little extra dribble to space it out to understand he's not going to be open, but he kind of tried to lead him to the basket. Nice read by Kyle Kuzma out in the open floor. All these live ball turnovers, Bonte, which gets the Lakers out in the open floor. Here, once again, here he is, LeBron James. The IQ, the incredible speed and quickness. Here we go, kind of a lazy dribble handoff here. You know, Oubre can do a little bit better job setting up. JT has to protect the basketball. That was like something you do in shoot around. This is the play we're gonna run, but he hangs that ball out there and KCP anticipates, steals it. That was pretty much the way the whole entire game went. The Lakers were the more aggressive, more physical team. More alert and aware offensively and defensively.
And you're not going to stop LeBron James in the open court, one of the most devastating players in the open floor. The turnovers were ugly, 11 in the first half, as the Warriors were never able to get into this one. But, hey, some positives out of this game. We'll talk about Pascal and his 18 off the bench a little bit later. But chasing Wilt Chamberlain for being the leader in all-time points in Warriors history. Chasing Chamberlain, Curry now 360 points behind Wilt Chamberlain, and he should break that at some point this year, Bullet.
Anytime you're in the same conversation with Wilt Chamberlain, you're making history. And that's what Steph Curry keeps on doing with his scoring. The way he does it is so unique in NBA history. So Steph Curry, you know, as long as he plays, he's just going to keep passing all these incredible historic stars in the NBA. It just shows you what a great career he's had to this point. And what's really encouraging when you watch a game like tonight, how well LeBron is still playing deep into his career. I see Steph Curry doing very similar things into his 40s.
Yeah, struggle from the field here. Staples Center, 2 for 7 for the three-point line. Can never get on track, but he did have that 4-point play, as you saw a little bit earlier there. And there's something about Staples Center where Curry struggles against the Lakers, not the Clippers. We'll break that down in just a second here. But he was never able to get back on track as the Lakers sent him doubles early and often, forcing other guys to score. And defensively, it looked like the Lakers had this game circled after losing that 19-point lead back on January 18th when the Warriors stole that victory, 115-113. Lakers looked locked in, and the Warriors, it just seemed like they weren't ready for that intensity. Coming off a 3-game winning streak, a season high, and being 4 games over 500, we thought they were ready for that breakthrough. This is a little speed bump for the Warriors as they head into the All-Star break with 2 left.
Just a speed bump, and I think you're right, Bonte, and Fitz mentioned it pregame. I think the Lakers had this game circled. They knew they blew that game. They had a 19-point lead at home, so they wanted payback for that. Steph Curry, as far as playing against the Lakers, right. The Lakers are one of the best defensive teams in the league. They have very good matchups for him and different looks. They start with Schroeder on him, right? And he can get into him in the backcourt, make it tough for him, like 94 feet. They have KCP.
Caruso.
All these different type looks they can throw at him. So they do a good job with their length and their physicality. And it's games like this where you need the others to get going so they can free up Steph a little bit.
They missed a lot of easy bunnies early in that first quarter, and Looney missed a couple there. He was not able to get back on track as well offensively. And Draymond Green, look, February was a good month all in all for the Golden State Warriors. They look like a team that's settling into their roles. And Draymond Green edged out Trae Young by 1 assist to take the assist lead for the month of February. We'll talk about Oubre's month a little bit later in the program, but Draymond Green with a hell of a February here, 10.5 assists he averaged in the month of February.
Incredible month for Draymond, and really after that Charlotte loss and the ejection, just a tremendous response. First and foremost with his apology, his sincere apology, and then his performance since then has been wonderful. And we talked, and Bonta, you mentioned Eric Paschall. We'll talk about him later. He had a nice second half to have some rhythm for Portland. I saw in the first quarter, before Draymond twisted his ankle, physically, athletically, looking really quick. The Lakers were laying off him. He drove the lane for a nice dunk over Pau Gasol. I just love his aggressiveness to score. And, of course, his assists have been off the charts, and he always rebounds.
And the Warriors going to travel straight to Portland, coming home from going from L.A. to Portland. They won't stop in the Bay Area, so Draymond Green, with 2 days off, hopefully he gets some treatment and get ready to go against the Portland Trailblazers, because Draymond has had some monster nights against Portland. And we know the last time out he was playing well defensively, and Steph Curry dropped 62 on the Portland Trailblazers. So Warriors would be looking to get back here with some days off here with that left ankle sprain. Didn't look too serious, Mullen. We don't know the MRI. We don't know what's happening there, but the Warriors played it safe there, which was smart because they were getting blown out the gym.
Yeah, I think it was a tweak. We'll find out. But also the game was getting away. Steve Kerr took him right out, and he didn't play the rest of the game, preparing for Portland. And as far as the game Wednesday, the Portland Trailblazers, very similar to the Warriors, but they just don't have that player like Draymond to get the passing game going. They have a lot of guys that attack off the dribble. You know, they're missing some of their key stars with C.J. McCollum and Nurkic. So they play small, but they don't have that dynamic playmaker like Draymond.
And they'll take on the Hornets tomorrow night. Hornets up in Sacramento right now, so the Warriors will see them Wednesday, of course. But Kelly Oubre Jr., who we just mentioned, you know, a lot of people, we talk about his month of January. It was rough, shooting 25% from the three-point line. But he got things going now. A rough game tonight. Not the best game for Kelly Oubre Jr., even though he had some cuts and some dunks tonight, but 19.5 points per game, which is what he averaged in Phoenix. You see the field goal percentage and the three-point percentage up. Kelly Oubre Jr. has really come on this last month.
Absolutely. And Bonta, as we praise Draymond and Steph Curry, one of the reasons they're so effective is they're so unique. The style of play, Steph Curry's skill set, the ability for Draymond to play out on the floor as a point center. That's different for teams to defend. It's different for players when they come from other teams to adjust to that. So while that adjustment was going on for Kelly Oubre, he maintained an incredible defensive aggression, always guarding the opposing's one of the best perimeter players. And now that his offensive game has come around, I think we can all see he's a perfect fit for this system, for the Warriors, and fitting next to Steph, Draymond. I think it's a really good fit, and I think it's starting to show itself now.
And you talk about him playing defense here. He started off on LeBron James tonight, guard Schroeder. Wednesday night, he'll probably open up on Damian Lillard. So what he's doing on both ends of the floor and knowing the system. Draymond said it the other night. He now knows where to go. He knows where to go in this motion offense, the timing, the spacing, and learning how to play with Steph. That's not an easy task as well because Steph is so good off the ball.
Well, you talk about the style of play. So a lot of teams, they run set offenses. You know, the Warriors run more of a read and react offense, which on one half-court possession, you're doing multiple things. So you're spacing to the three, then you're cutting, because Steph Curry never stops moving. So the adjustment is a different one for most players. But now Oubre, the thing that really sticks out, his defense, yes, he's an incredible athlete. When he back cuts, we saw that last game against Charlotte, 6 dunks in the first half. Back cuts, he gets in the paint. Not only does he his explosive jumper, he's just a quick finisher. And he uses that same athleticism on the defensive end.
Yeah, he's getting the rebounds too as well, getting up and grabbing them, averaging 7 for the month of February. As we take a look at the updated Western Conference standings, not too many changes here. They fall into a tie with the Denver Nuggets. We'll see if the Denver Nuggets, I believe they're going to have 3 games postponed before the All-Star break due to R.J. Hampton being in health and safety protocols for COVID-19. So Denver may be out for the rest of the first half of the season, but they'll play Portland Wednesday night, San Antonio lurking around. We'll see about them. Of course, Phoenix on Thursday night. So the Warriors, look, they get blown out tonight by the L.A. Lakers. You look at the film, you try to get better, but they're right where they want to be, right where a lot of people expected it to be. Heck, a lot of people expected it to be like 18-18, maybe under 500. They're in a good spot right now, Bully.
Yeah, no question. You look at the standings there, between 5 and 10 is all bunched up, and that's going to change game to game for the rest of the second half of the season. And, you know, you would think Denver and Dallas will get hot at some point. So I think, you know, you can make a case at this point in time the Warriors have overachieved. You know, and I think now that they found they're playing their best basketball, they're setting themselves up to have a really strong second half.
Yeah, they finished the season with 6 straight home games after this brutal stretch. Coming up here, Portland, Phoenix, out of the break. They'll take on the Clippers, Utah Jazz, and, of course, the L.A. Lakers back at Chase Center. Well, what does Steve Kerr have to say about this blowout victory?
Let's see if he shows up.
Yeah, does he show up? Somebody show up. More coming up on Warriors PostGame Live, presented by Toyota.
Warriors PostGame Live is presented by Toyota. Wouldn't it be nice to drive the most trusted brand in California?